Hey everybody, it's GombaX and welcome to my very first Arena Cube Sealed. This is a brand new format they just added to Arena today that is basically a sealed format like a regular limited sealed where you would get 6 packs of Theros or 6 packs of Ravnica, except that the cards are from what is called a quote-unquote cube, which is a collection of cards specifically picked out of multiple different sets because of their power level in limited or constructed and their playability with each other. So this is basically going to be a super powered up limited format. It's just the best of the best on Arena in pack form. Now because of that fact, the event is Phantom, so you don't get to keep any of the cards that you open up in the sealed, unfortunately. But it is a little bit cheaper than a regular ranked draft, and it should be a lot of fun. I would say definitely this is the kind of format that you should play it if you enjoy it. If you're trying to get the best bang for your buck out of your gold, I still would recommend Rank Draft over it because Rank Draft, at all of the win levels, you get some amount of gems out of it. You get to keep all the cards that you draft, and you get possibly more packs out of the wins. In this, you just get a couple random cards, some gold, and then if you do 5 wins before you hit 3 losses, you do get 600 gems out of it. So without further ado, let's start it off. It looks like because I jumped into the event before it was completely ready, I've got to go back into it. So give me 1 second here, and we'll get this show on the road. All right, here we go. So I don't actually know what cards are in the cube, but I assume it's going to be some really nice stuff. So let's see what we got in our 6 packs. As you can see, uh, it really is the strongest stuff on Arena. On this first page here, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rare or mythic rare cards. So that's why the event is Phantom. You don't keep every card that you get here. Um, so yeah, some really strong stuff to start with. For white, it looks like we've got some good small creatures. Mace of the Valiant gets bigger for every creature that you play, so that'll work good in a creature spam deck, a creature heavy deck. Sigil of the Empty Throne's a little weird. Wants you to have a lot of enchantments to do a lot, and we don't have any other enchantments in white, so that's a little awkward. But we have some very strong cards in white for sure. Harmonious Archon produces multiple creatures, Finale of Glory produces multiple creatures, and just some decent flyers with Resplendent Angel and Imperial Aerosaur. And Venerated Loxodon also good in a creature heavy deck. See what we have in blue here. Some counter spells. Fae of Wishes. That's a little bit fun. You get to utilize your sideboard with the adventure there, granted. Choose a non-creature card you own from outside of the game. So in limited and in constructed, that just means grab something from your sideboard specifically, not your entire collection. So we could use granted to get anything from our entire sealed pool and put it into our hand. Ooh, I did see when I scrolled over here, we do have a white-blue dual land, if we do just go that way. So yeah, some basic stuff. Fibblethip's not really that exciting for a rare. Folio of Fancies can just mill people out of nowhere. Some more basic blue stuff, some scries, some counters. Nadir Kraken, one of the best blue bombs just on Arena, period. And some artifact synergy stuff, Psy and Skilled Animator. A very good flyer with Dungeon Geists. This can shut down one of your opponent's creatures as long as it remains on the battlefield, as well as being a 3/3 flyer, and one of the strongest limited bombs on Arena as well. Kiora Best's the Sea God. If you've played any Theros recently, you've probably run into this card at least once and gotten utterly demolished, or demolished someone else. In Bolas's Clutch is another huge bomb. Get rid of their most important threat as well as just gaining it for your own use. Patient Rebuilding, fun for like a mill slower deck. Decent stuff in black, it looks like. Some early game removal with Disfigure and Golden Demise, and some big late game bombs. Doom Whisperer, Demon Lord Belzenlock, God Eternal Bond 2, Taste of Death, Eldest Reborn. So it does seem like this format's going to be a little difficult to decide how to build your decks just because there's so much going in your favor. I'm not a huge fan of cube sealed for that reason, just because there's always great stuff all across the board. So you just have tons of options. It's a little hard to whittle it down to what you think would be the best in your sealed pool. Um, Whereas Cube Draft, I'm a huge fan of, but they are not planning on implementing Cube Draft until they implement 8-player human drafts, so that they can't, like, I think they've just found that the bots haven't been drafting the cubes right or something. Like they just keep going for the mythics or something like that. I don't know. Wow, not a lot of early drops in red, but some real bangers at 5 mana. We got Sarkin, Siege Gang Commander, Banefire. Big stuff. Green. Green looks fine. One thing I definitely am not a huge fan of in our sealed pool here is that we did get 2 really good cards that care about enchantments, Setessan Champion and the Sigil that creates 4/4 flyers. Both of those want us to play a lot of enchantments, and we just don't have 2 in green and just the 1 in white. Green overall looking a little meh, just a little middle of the road there. Blue-black here, Dimir is looking very strong. Obviously, Planeswalkers are always a big deal in Limited, even in Cube. And Ashiok Nightmare Ruse is brutal, as is Enter the God Eternals. That can get rid of one of your opponent's cards, as well as milling them a bit and making a 4/4. And Ashiok Dreamrender, I mean, that mills 20 cards by itself if left unchecked. So good stuff in blue-black. I'm thinking about maybe trying to just go blue-black for that reason, and then Ugin, that's going to go into our deck no matter what. At worst, this is 6 mana to destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So just basically any permanent most of the time. So that's going to go into any deck we build. That's very strong. Platinum Angel is a little bit of a trap. I mean, 7 mana for a 4/4 flyer is definitely decent, but you can't really take the second ability into account too much, because if you have a 4/4 flyer on the board and they're not dealing with it, you're probably winning that game anyway. Because, yeah, all they got to do is just pop that thing. It has no real defense. Stonecoil Serpent we could put into any deck we have as well. That'll just make sure that our curve is a little bit better, because we'll always have whatever mana cost card we need when we need it, whenever we draw that Serpent. Evolving Wild's a decent fetch to put into anything we build. And just a couple artifact creatures here. I don't think we really have enough to go for the artifact synergy deck. I mean, Voltaic Servant plus Steel Overseer is a really cool combo. Steel Overseer gets to tap to put a counter on all your artifact creatures, and then Voltaic Servant will untap it. So you get to do that twice per turn. So I guess we could, like, if we just throw all our artifact creatures into here, throw Golos in there as well, throw in the Arcanist Soul, because it obviously draws us more artifacts and enchantments. You can see what we have going for us that way. Board the Weatherlight grabs an artifact. We obviously would play Psy. Skilled Animator. It definitely looks like a fun build. We don't have enough to go all in on that theme, so then we would just start putting in just our good, our good rare stuff and our good mythics to go alongside it. But it does look like a decent deck overall. Just not as synergistic as I'd hope for. I mean, definitely a strong deck, but I'm sure everything is going to look like a strong deck. So that's pretty spicy, but I'm going to go ahead and look at the Dimir version, just blue-black instead here. Okay. Omen Speaker, Fae of Wishes, Fibblethip, just lots of early cards that give us a little bit of card advantage, as well as blocking a lot of stuff. Could put Folio in here. We have enough mill stuff in here, especially if we're going to be running both Ashioks, that could be a real threat. So patient rebuilding for the same reason. as with Into the Story, have a little bit of a mill sub-theme in this deck. I think I am going to end up trying to build this deck because, just because of the mill sub-theme. I am a pretty big fan of mill-type strategies in general. So that's 41 cards there, so we get to cut something and run with this. Oh, and we got to put Ugin in there for sure. Golos... Yeah, we have a lot of 6 and 7 mana cards, so Golos grabbing us a land at 5 mana is actually probably pretty good. Should probably put Labyrinth in there as well. Surprised Field of the Dead's in here. That's going to be really hard to trigger in Sealed. That might be something they put in more for when they implement Draft, because then you can draft enough lands to try to go for it. Yeah, that's going to be a difficult one to get active here. Oh yeah, Stonecoil Serpent as well. Definitely an auto-include. Alright. So what do I want to try to cut here? Fibblestep definitely seems like one of our weaker 2-mana cards. Hypnotic Sprite, I'm not super happy about either. Actually, Taskmaster and Order of Midnight, I don't really feel like I want to just play a bunch of little creatures at the start, but at the same time, I have a giant stack of stuff in the late game. So I do want some stuff at the early mana costs. Maybe I even want Fibblethip over the Order of Midnight. Seems like just not what we're doing here. Definitely more controlling. We want the ability to block if we choose to. Demon Lord Belzenlock could actually end up milling us a lot because it could just like scoop up all these cards. It's a little scary, but I think he is definitely still strong enough to keep in there regardless of that fact. And now, man, I just don't know if Folio Fancies and stuff like that is going to be fast enough for this format. I don't know how fast the fast decks can really get. Probably pretty fast. Maybe we could take like Into the Story out. See, 14, 15, 16, 17 lands. I want all those to stay in. Ashiok literally does nothing but mill. I guess so does Folio. Patient Rebuilding mills and lets us draw cards. And we do have plenty of other win conditions. We have Cure Best the Sea God, we have Ashiok, we have Demon Lord. We probably don't really need this mill sub-theme, as fun as that is, so we could cut those and put in something a little more defensive, or just some more draw or something like that. What do we even have that's more defensive? I guess Hypnotic Sprite could go back in, have a little counter spell there. Or... I mean, this is a little Death Toucher. Get out there and block some stuff early. That seems fine. I'll probably just throw that Death Toucher in and run it like this. Alright, so... I don't know. I don't know how I feel. As I said at the start of this video, this is my very first experience with the Magic Arena Cube. So, don't know if this is good or bad overall. It looks good to me, but I'm sure every deck in this format is going to look pretty spicy and pretty exciting. Let's just get into a game and see how it goes. Actually, give me one sec here. Just realized I didn't have audio on that whole time. My bad. It would have just been very quiet little ambient sound in there, for the deck building anyway. Alright. I am going to keep this. We get to crack Evolving Wilds turn 1 for a swamp, that way Embodiment of Agonies will actually be a 1-1. So we have a turn 2 and turn 3 play, both are good at blocking. Or actually, does this not count non-land cards? Or I guess it only counts non-land cards, it does not count lands. That is a little unfortunate. Opponent, probably on an aggressive deck. They're playing green, they've got that Lonely Beast. Let's see, we've got 3 lands right now. We have a 5-mana and 6-mana card in hand. I think we want both these islands, actually. We definitely want to hit every land drop so we can hit these powerhouses in our hand here. Ooh, blue, black, and green over here. Full Sultai so far. Can just Golden Demise for the 2-for-1 here, but I can also just wait. I don't have a 4-mana card to play next turn, and they don't have any pressure on me. It's very likely they're just going to cast the Lovestruck Beast here, if they have the land for it. And then I'm not even going to Golden Demise anything else. I'll just be killing the same things I would have killed this turn, but perhaps they will play something else that dies to Demise. And we could get a lot of value if they do. Ooh, come on, another one? Nope, just that one. Well, happy with my choice then. We will get the 3-for-1 possibly. They do have the mana to have Giant Growth or something. We did see Giant Growth is in this format. We did open one in our sealed pool. Looks like, unfortunately, no Giant Growth for our opponent, but they will sacrifice a swamp to go ahead and grab another land. And it's any land card, so if they are playing more than 3 colors, they could get something really fancy. But they are just playing the 3 colors, but still have a Temple of Malady in their deck. So that's pretty nice. Got 2 of the temples for their 3-color pair. And a Rupture Spire. Opponent has a very good mana base. And Argyl's Bloodfast, pay 2 life, draw a card, so they are just going to start going off in terms of the card draw. So enter the God Eternals with no creatures on my opponent's board is a little awkward. I won't lie. You're just passing the turn here. No real reason to drop the Embodiment of Agonies either. I'd be putting 1 more damage worth of pressure on them. So I can in Bolas's Clutches the Hunter or just shoot it with the God Eternals. I'd rather just shoot that. I'm going to mill them here. They could have some graveyard synergies, but I'm hoping not. And our mills were definitely very good. Oops. Missed an attack there. Could add 1 more damage on him. But, yeah, that worked out pretty well for me. Now they don't get Liliana or Garruk. Only 2 cards in hand for our opponent, but they do have the Bloodfast. Inevitable End. I think I might just sack the Omen Speaker to get more damage in here. Well, Lovestruck Beast is a 5/5 blocker, so I would have to spend a Disfigure and an Omen Speaker to kill it, because I'd have to sack Omen Speaker to be able to attack this turn and throw Disfigure at Lovestruck Beast. I guess I'd rather just let the zombie army die here for now. Ooh. Alright. There we go, top deck. We have a lot of cards that would trigger Bells Unlock for another round, and we did get one, the Eldest Reborn. Very nice. So we got to draw 2 cards off of it. Super powerful. And not to mention, he is a 6/6 Flying Trample. Opponent casting Granted off of their Fae of Wishes. Probably finding an answer for Bells Unlock. They do have Rupture Spire out, so even if they put every removal spell in their colors into their deck, they can just grab one from another color, so very, very likely to have an answer here. They do have to reveal the card that they pick. So we'll see what's coming up here. They could also just have like a really scary bomb here, just some off-color bomb. Opponent is going to take some time on this decision. They are looking through their entire sealed pool to find the best card, rather than in Standard where you just look at your 15-card sideboard. They're looking at like 60 cards. They pick Lotus Field. Interesting. That makes me really worried about what's in their hand, that they need a Lotus Field out. That's really weird. That's so crazy. Okay, then. Well, I guess we'll just drop the Eldest Reborn, save up a Disfigure, and now they sack their only flying blocker or the Beast. And thanks to Trample, it is actually worth just attacking with both of these here. That way, if their plan is to just block some of the Trample damage, I get through for 1 extra point. Omen Speaker can't block anything right now anyway, their only creature's flying. Be very surprised if they just pass the turn here. They just grabbed a Lotus Field off of Fae of Wishes. Be very, very concerning if they did that and then just didn't even use the mana. They could be just reaching with the Bloodfast here. Just trying to get as much mana as possible to fuel the 2-life ability there. And 2 mana ability. 2 cards in hand. To discard 2 cards to put Fae of Wishes back into hand to use its ability again. Or are they just going to cast it again as a blocker? They're not even going to cast it. Just save the mana for the Bloodfest? Super strange. Because now Eldritch Reborn is just going to make him discard it. So, I mean, they have to respond with the draw card. If they don't want to discard that. Discards a Wayward Swordtooth. This is super weird. I'm just going to attack for 7. Maybe they just had some kind of daily quest for casting blue spells or something, so they want to recast it. We'll just play a Golos. Save up Disfigure mana and do that. We'll grab our temple, so we get a scry. Wait, where is our temple? Ooh, I forgot to put our temple, and that's a good thing to note right now when it doesn't matter. I guess we're... Yeah, we have Evolving Wands, we just don't have the temple. Unless it's exiled. Oh, how'd that get exiled? Okay, I already forgot. Oh, Demon Lord Bells Unlock exiled temple. Okay, we're good. We built the right mana base. Just lost my mind for a second there. Alright, what do they have? What on earth do they have? I mean, I guess they could have just really been wanting to flip the temple. So they wanted to get low on life before they do whatever the real plan is off of Granted. Could be Wrath. Probably going to be a little while again. There goes the rope. It's back at it. Shadow of the Sky, so it is a Wrath. Oh no, but then they didn't have the white mana up because they auto-tapped the Lotus Field, I think. So, Magic Arena Auto-Tapper takes another one. Okay, well, that's one win. I don't know how much we deserved that win. That was a really weird game. I think they just might have gotten a little greedy there and really wanted to flip the temple or something and really wanted to get... Oh, wait, no, I think I know what it is. They only had 1 mana of any color before they had Lotus Field, so they had to get Lotus Field to be able to cast Shatter the Sky in the first place. So they had to get Lotus Field and then Shatter the Sky. And then just the auto-tapper gave them a really bad time on it. So, definitely not the most fun for our opponent. This is a pretty good hand. We are going to Deer Kraken into a Thirst for Meaning, so if we have enough mana, we get to put a lot of counters on our Kraken, and a lot of tentacles on the board. Oh, wow. So I guess we're saving that Thirst for Meaning for later, because the later we do that, the more extra mana we'll have to dump into tentacles. So we get to just drop Kraken turn 3 into Dungeon Geist turn 4. Powerful stuff. We could also just make a Tentacle and make the Kraken a little bigger next turn. If we don't want to tap something down with Dungeon Geists, it'll depend on what they play. If they don't play any creatures, I guess I'll just drop Stonecoil Serpent and put a counter on Kraken. One swamp away from also having access to Enter the God Eternals, which would be really nice. This is definitely some kind of pump. Just like a Disfigure or something. Oh my god, okay.
Prime day for justice.
There's Gideon. Didn't use any of its abilities there. So Gideon's a 4/4 indestructible during their turn that doesn't take damage. It's plus to do Vigilance, Lifelink, or Indestructible. Oh, I can just kill it if I put a counter here. Okay. So I guess I'm just going to kill Gideon here. And if this opponent also has Shatter the Sky, that would be sad. This is definitely prone to overcommitting here, but we have card draw in our hand, we have Thirst for Meaning, and we have Patient Rebuilding. So I'm kind of okay setting myself up for a possible 2-for-1. Or I guess because it would be a 2-for-3. They'd be trading Shatter the Sky and Knight of Grace for Kraken, Serpent, and Fibblethip and a Tentacle. I guess add those two together and they're kind of one card worth. Ooh, I could do Enter the God Eternals this turn if Knight of Grace didn't have Hexproof from black. Unfortunately it does, so I'm just going to make a Tentacle here. And Dungeon Geists it? I don't think so. I think I'm going to save the Thirst for Meaning mana and just not overcommit anymore. I don't see a huge reason to. Whoa! Now that I think of that, I probably should have just Dungeon Geist, because we're pretty sure they had some kind of combat trick earlier. Yeah, that was a little bit of a punt on my part. I guess I'm fine with allowing them to kill Stonecoil Serpent if they have some kind of thing. But Nadir Kraken has got to stay. There's an entire board in a can. -X till end of turn. Should gain X life. Okay, so that's their tricks. They would have minused Kraken and blocked to first strike kill it. So definitely glad I went with that, because that would have died either way, in or out of combat. Yeah, and I think I'll just Thirst for Meaning, creating a Tentacle during their turn. Doom Whisper, and we can Dungeon Geist that. Alright, we've got a definite plan here. Oh, wow. In Bolas's Clutches, I'll need to draw one more land for that. I think I'm discarding Patient Rebuilding here. I could also just discard, like, Disfigure and Enter the God Eternals. I think I'm discarding Patient Rebuilding. I think we're on the aggro here. Like, we're not going for a long game with a Rebuilding or something. We're just trying to wrap this up right here, right now. And a basic land could definitely do that for us. not a land, so we only have 5 mana. We could play Ashiok. Bounce their Doom Whisperer back to their hand, have them exile a card from hand. We could also cast Enter the God Eternals, or we can cast Dungeon Geists and put a Tentacle out with Kraken. A lot of options. Enter the God Eternals is probably the most aggressive, but that doesn't get rid of Doom Whisperer. Do like getting aggressive. I think I'm gonna Dungeon Geists here. Just start getting in. That will leave Doom Whisper on board, so if they want to pay a bunch of life to Surveil, they can. So if they have a Wrath effect, they have a way to dig for it, and they can dig very deep, especially if they chump block. Could dig 22 cards deep. If I just attack with Kraken and they chump block. Don't think that's likely to happen, but we'll see. So they surveilled and just left them both on top. Definitely has me a little bit scared. But they take the 6 to the face. For now. So probably not an entire Wrath, because they would have just chumped if it was a Wrath, if everything was just going to die anyway. Liliana Dreadhorde General. That's actually not bad at all for me. I mean, I guess it's mildly bad, but I can steal it, which is very good. It's mildly bad in that they get a blocker. We did get our 6th mana, though, so it's not bad at all. We're just going to decline that and borrow a Liliana. Oh, this is so flavorful, too. I'm in Bolas's clutches on Liliana. So yeah, I think this is definitely a net gain, because we just sacrifice tentacles and draw cards for each tentacle we sacrifice. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. Alright, Dimir Shenanigans does it again. 2 wins, no losses so far. I gotta say, this is definitely feeling more powerful and more cubey than I expected, because I've never played a cube with only cards that are as recent as Magic Arena. The only cubes I've ever played are like modern cubes at the absolute newest, which is a lot more sets than this. But there is a lot of shenanigans even just on Arena, and a whole lot of just intricacies and choices and stuff. Probably shouldn't keep this because it's like a 7 mana bomb right there, but I don't know, I got the early game Disfigure, Embodiment of Agonies to block stuff. I think we can get there. We can Fae of Wishes, cast Granted to get whatever kind of answer we need. We're going to keep that land on top. We need a lot more to reach the Sea God. Giant Killer is the start for our opponent. Might just disfigure that immediately, we'll have to see. Not going to disfigure it right now, I'm not that scared of pump spells. I just think pump spells aren't like the most interesting thing that you can really do, and there's not a lot of pump spells in the cube, I don't think, so I don't expect to run up against pump spells often at all, because first of all, there's probably not a lot. Second of all, even if someone opened one, I think they're a lot less likely to play it in this cube than in just like regular limited. Do you have a Thirst for Meaning? No reason to main phase it because we'll be tapped out, obviously. So we can just do it here. I guess if somehow we draw like super magical stuff, we can discard Cure Bestis the Sea God so that we only discard one card. Oops. I accidentally closed out of Arena for a second. That would have been bad. Okay. Those are powerful cards. Oh my god, do we... We have 2 6-mana cards, a 5-mana card. Are we actually just discarding Cure Best the Sea God? I really don't want to do that, but I'm definitely not wanting to discard this land. This is a choice and a half. Man. What are you doing to me, Cube? Now I'm about to grab a land with Granted. Hollowed Fountain, probably, is our only choice. Grab Field of the Dead. Oh, Temple of Mystery, I guess. Hollowed Fountain could be untapped if we need it untapped, though. Which we might, because we might want to just cast Enter the God Eternals. That's probably the best choice, but we could grab, like, Ashiok, Disdainful Stroke, Starlit Mantle, Dreadhorde Invasion. Yeah, we're straight up just grabbing a land. Alright. Making questionable decisions here. But I'm all for it. That is getting killed immediately. Do I have a way to kill that immediately? Yes, I've entered the God Eternals. Let's not be stupid. That's what I literally just grabbed the land for, just in case. Mill somebody 4. We'll mill our opponent. I could mill myself for the embodiment of Agony's stuff, but I have a patient rebuilding in here, so like it might be a little helpful to mill our opponent off of the Enter the God Eternals if it comes to a patient rebuilding type game. Alright, we got our 6th mana in hand. We can cast Demon Lord or Taste of Death or Golden Demise and Embodiment of Agonies, both in one turn. Opponent does still have a whole bunch of cards in hand, though, because this format is just people dropping straight bangers every turn. Aw, Order of Midnight, bring back the Archon of Sun's Grace. Well, I'm very glad I have this Taste of Death, because it is going to have to happen. Feeling real bad about this Hollowed Fountain right now, though. I needed to make sure I hit every land drop, and I sure did, even without it, so that's wonderful. Let's go ahead and attack for 4 and then drop down Demon Lord, see what we can draw into. We'll draw at least one card to replace the Demon Lord, but we could hit multiple giant, scary, bomby cards. The only thing that is mildly unfortunate about this play is if we do end up having to cast Taste of Death to kill their Archon, we will also kill our Demon Lord, so we're going to hope that doesn't occur. Got Dungeon Geists and Lazav the Multifarious. Very nice. Alright, so we don't see any enchantments in their grave. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, we don't see any enchantments in their grave, so I'm thinking that we might not even have to Taste of Death to kill the Archon, because I don't know how likely it is that they're going to get many Constellation triggers out of it. But now that they just killed our only creature we really cared about, we can go ahead and attack, and then Taste of Death to have us both sack 3 creatures after we get our damage out of our 4/4. And just clear this board and have card advantage here. Seems pretty good. And we will drop our land out tapped. Let's see what's next. Nightmare Shepherd after the board's been wiped, thankfully. But now whenever we want to kill any of their other creatures, it does come back as like a 1/1 or something. Could steal that. Or I could just tap it down. I think I'd rather steal it just because it has a powerful ability. Even if it's just tapped down on their field, it's still doing something. Then we'll have problems even if we're just killing little stuff with a Golden Demise or something. So I'm just going to steal it. And then we'll drop Lazav here, and next turn we can have... Oh, actually, they desparked our Demon Lord Bells Unlocked. They didn't kill it the regular way, unfortunately. Still going to drop Lazav for the Surveil. But Lazav can copy any creature in our graveyard for X mana, where X is that creature's converted mana cost. So if we had our Demon Lord engrave, we could make it a big old scary flyer. We're just gonna murder the Nightmare Shepherd. Alright. Well, we got to kill their Nightmare Shepherd and get rid of a removal spell from their hand at the price of the 1 card, which is very nice. 2-for-1s are exactly where you want to be. Divine Visitation for our opponent, so let's make sure they don't play any tokens. We don't actually have to kill that immediately. I could kill it with Ugin, but I might just make a 2-2. Yeah, I don't see why not.
My presence alone. Secrets manifest.
Of course, this could be really bad if they follow up with the 2 white and X, create X 2/2s, and then they just create X angels. That actually could be really bad. We maybe should have just killed Divine Visitation immediately just so they couldn't possibly have like a super lucky play like that. Luckily they don't. And now we still have the counters to be able to just kill the Archon now. So glad I did that. Unfortunately for us, they followed it up with another enchantment. So, wow, that's bad. And another creature that created tokens. That turn really could not have gone better for them. Okay. So I guess we'd be in a better spot right now if we killed that Divine Visitation. Instead, they would have a 4/5 Archon, a 2/1 Ephemia, a 2/2 Flyer. We wouldn't really be in that much of a better spot, because then we wouldn't have the counters to kill the Archon here. We'd be in an okay spot, I guess. I think it's basically like comparable. Alright, I'm trying to figure out what we really need to do here. I guess we're just going to Geists down one of the Flyers and kill the Archon. And then we have the blockers to protect Ugin.
My plans do not include you.
But yeah, Golden Demise, Ephemia. Because we've got the City's Blessing, so this will only affect their creatures. Alright. And Dungeon's Geists. So we have Fae of Wishes plus Dungeon Geists to block if they attack Ugin. And now we can start sacrificing our food tokens, because we don't really have anything else to do with them in this deck. And opponent's down to 9, and they're top decking. So hopefully they don't draw anything else that combos with Visitation, so we don't have to deal with any more Flyers. That is just a land for now. They are going to send in at Ugin. We'll go ahead and trade our Dungeon Geists for their Flyer. Well, we trade Dungeon Geists for their Flyer or lose Ugin. If we trade Dungeon Geists for their Flyer, the other one just becomes untapped. But I guess it gives us one more turn of Ugin, and then we can chump block with Fae of Wishes, and Ugin will have enough counters to destroy something at that point. So it is probably better to block. They do get to attack Ugin now with this other one, but... Ooh. Never mind. We could just draw a really good draw. We're just drawing straight fire today.
Truth lies beyond vision.
My embodiment is like an 8/8 now. But we've been playing around Wraths decent amount in these other games, might as well keep doing so. They're at 5 life, they're definitely dead on board. We have Ugin at 3 to destroy whatever blocker they make, and that is going to be game. Was definitely not impossible for us to lose that game. They could have top decked into 2 white X mana, create X 2/2s. we would just have been destroyed. But absolutely worked out for us. I'm all for it. This Dimir deck is... I'm not great with adjectives. I just keep calling it spicy over and over. I just really like spicy food. Spicy equals incredible. So, there you go. That's my synonyms right there. If I call something spicy, that means it's like the highest compliment I could possibly give it. Alright, we're going to keep this. Not the craziest thing in the world. Obviously no late game cards, but that's kind of a good thing. You don't really want to draw them until you have the mana to play them. For now, we can set up a possible turn 3 Golden Demise if they are aggressive, and we draw another swamp. Either way, we don't have any swamps in hand, so we're definitely grabbing one with Evolving Wilds. Island from our opponent. Patient Rebuilding, definitely setting up for a long game here. It's one of our slowest cards, but one of our coolest cards. It's got Nicol Bolas in the artwork. Come on. How can you not like Nicol Bolas? Okay, so we Stonecoil Serpent for 3, or we draw a card. I guess we're drawing a card. Thank you, Fibblethip. Ooh, Omen Speaker as well. Scry some cards, set up our draws. Would have certainly been nice to have one of these a turn earlier, so we'd have a turn 2 play and a turn 3 play instead of nothing turn 2. We have all of our mana for Patient Rebuilding. Now we get to scry, see what's coming up, because there's nothing to Dungeon Geist right now. What color did they pick on the banner? Guess we'll find out. Don't need these lands right now. We will need one more land. If we draw one of our 6 drops, we have one 7 drop as well. But for now, we're good on lands. And we have Patient Rebuilding will draw us lots of cards, so we shouldn't be hurting for lands late in this game. So Banner chose blue and Gilded Lotus. Getting a little worried that our opponent hasn't cast anything so far. We might both just be late game blue-black decks here. Negate what? Negate off the Gilded Lotus? Now I'm mad. You could just have a hand full of counterspells. And it's Ugin. Okay. Eldest Reborn to kill that. Well, not if they plus it. I don't know why I assumed they would minus it. Maybe they just really hate Omen Speaker. They just really wanted to kill it. I wish they would have done that. That would have been awesome. Unfortunately, no. That's going to be a huge problem. Alright. I guess we can play... They're not going to have any counterspells unless they have a 2-mana counterspell. So we just play a really big Stonecoil Serpent to try to start smashing that, because they can't kill it with Ugin, because it is not colored. We could also just play Eldest Reborn. They have to sack their 2/2. That's not actually good right now, I don't think. Golden Demise isn't good either. They're going to keep making 2/2s off Ugin, hopefully. So Golden Demise will be better later that way. I think we just play the Stonecoil. I think it's our best bet against Ugin right now. Next turn we can Golden Demise and smack Ugin in the face. Especially if we draw a land, then we'll have Ascension. For fuck's sake. No. That's really bad. I didn't know Agent of Treachery was in this as well, but I should have assumed so. That's just supremely horrible. I mean, this is when we just scoop, realistically. We get to kill their 2/2s, but then they draw those cards into their hand, and then they still have a 6/6 and a 3/3. guess. Should have played Dungeon Geists first. I'd keep my 1/1 on board if I did that. So now they just get to use... Oh my god. They have Thassa plus Agent of Treachery in Limited? That's fun. That's super fun to know that those are both in the cube. The Bane of Casual Constructed makes its way into the Limited cube. Wow. Well, that was brutal. Did not expect to see that level of chicanery. So if you don't know the combo, Agent of Treachery, when it enters the battlefield, steals any permanent, and Thassa, at the beginning of your unstep, you get to exile one of your permanents and put it back onto the battlefield, so you just keep every single turn you steal something with Agent of Treachery. I was not about to play through that. Alright. This is a pretty nice hand for the early game. We have a Disfigure, we have a turn 2 play, we have a turn 3 play if they play stuff we want to kill. Plus both of our 2-drops survive Golden Demise with their 3 toughness. I'm going to go ahead and play Lazav first for the Surveil to set up our future draws. We do want the land, we'll keep it. We have a 6-mana card and a 7-mana card in hand, both of which are very powerful. Playing against a green-blue deck here. Alright, get a Swamp out. I guess Taskmaster save up his figure mana. Opponent got the very nice new F&M sleeves. I think you had to play in the F&M event and like tell your local store about it or something. Got Eternal Kefnet. Alright, that could be a problem. Well, I can't even kill that with a Disfigure, unfortunately, even if they block, so I guess we're in pass mode. Just waiting for Bolas's clutches to deal with that. Planes from our opponent. And Kiora. So they draw a card whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under their control. So I expect I'm playing against a lot of big cards, but I usually am in this format, it seems.
Let's get moving.
I mean, obviously, there's some massive stuff. Conclave Tribunal on our Taskmaster. Okay. I can certainly get down with that jam. That means that won't be around when Kiora Best the Sea God is. Taken 4. Yeah, that's a little weird because the 2/3 was not doing a single thing for me here. That was a very good draw. Like, unless I just don't draw lands from this point on. But yeah, like, if I draw that into basic land, that's like the most ideal set of draws I think I could have had. Because now we've got a big old blocker for their flyer. And we had a turn 5 play, which we just wouldn't have either the other way around. Lyra Dawnbringer. Luckily, Doom Whisper is big enough to block that as well. And we have Disfigure back up. Patient Rebuilding. Okay, so we're casting Patient Rebuilding or we're saving up Disfigure. I guess they only have 1 mana up, so I guess it's Patient Rebuilding time. We really need to draw these lands, cast these cards, and we hope they don't have a pump spell or a removal spell, so our Doom Whisper can still hold back the forces here. Ooh, Chemist's Insight. So they're just going to draw a lot of cards this turn. Super fine with that if they just spend this turn drawing cards, because then that'll speed up the Patient Rebuilding win, if we can just mill them out. Nope, Banishing Light. That's horrible. Alright. So probably should have just surveilled with Doom Whisper the turn I played it. Just to be like 100% certain I hit my 6th land to take Lyra. Because yeah, this is really bad this way. Do draw 1 extra card off Patient Rebuilding and draw for turn. Wow. Wow. Think I'm just dead. Enter the Goddard Journals only does 4. Yeah, I think I just had to take like a big hit off the Doom Whisperer Surveils and hit a land there. But yeah, and as I was saying it, I was like, well, maybe I should Doom Whisper Surveil here too, but I don't know. It's just one of those things that's, it's hard to get out of the mindset of that, like, life is such a... Like, life is a resource that you can just spend life as long as you won't immediately die from it. It's like, we could have surveilled 4 cards there and not died. So we should have surveilled 4 cards to make sure that we'd hit a land, because if we didn't hit a land, we 100% died. So... It does really suck not to have drawn the land several turns in a row, even with the additional draw. But it's not really a fair excuse when we had the out on board to surveil into the lands. So, feels a little extra bad there. Definitely my bad. Either way, we probably weren't going to be in a really good spot. Because with the amount of cards they drew there, they just needed 1 more removal spell, just kill whatever we stole, and then we would be at like 0 life with no flying blockers, and they'd still have a flying attacker. So we were probably screwed either way also there. Overall, just not a good time on all fronts that game, for several reasons. I'm actually just going to get rid of this embodiment. I feel like the embodiment has definitely not ever been... I'm pretty sure I've literally never cast it. I think is what I'm trying to say. So Omen Speaker set up some future draws. It is more land. We do want them though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we definitely want to hit our 5 lands, so I guess a lands it is. Corpse Knight from our opponent. So they are white and black at least. I don't really need to cast Stonecoil Serpent right now. They already can't attack and actually like deal damage to me, so I can just wait and cast Stonecoil Serpent next turn because I don't have any 4 mana cards to play anyway. Oh boy.
We can banish evil from this plane.
Oh boy. This is probably really bad because this opponent probably actually knows how to use Gideon.
Share
Yep.
in my light.
They're using the ability. Oh boy. Well, here's the serpent. It's large and it has trample and it has protection from multicolored, so they can't block it with Corpse Knight. So we do get to get a guaranteed 4 damage on Gideon if we want it.
Your light will cleave the darkness.
We could also just try to like enter the God Eternals to kill Corpse Knight, and then Eldest Reborn to kill Gideon. Ooh, and just have the removal for our Serpent anyway. Yeah, this is certainly really bad. Now they've got the mana, well, they've got the loyalty to exile any non-land permanent. And they have another creature out, so we can't get them to sacrifice it due to Eldest Reborn. If I play Doom Whisper, they have to kill Gideon to kill it, or wait a turn. I don't even have the second blue for the God Eternals yet, so like I get them to sack their 2/2 or their 1/3, or get them to sack Gideon or force them to have removal. Doesn't feel like we're in a great position either way. They do sack Gideon to kill Doom Whisperer. I think I'm going to use the ability here. Disfigure and Ashiok. Feel like we just want Ashiok? +1, we get a 2/3. Just keep making 2/3s. Yeah, I feel like that's just very good. And if they play something really big and scary that could get through the 2/3s, I can just bounce it back to hand with the -3. Woe Strider. They're a bit of a like sacrifice deck over here. I like it. Token producers, ways to sacrifice them for value. Ways to get value when they enter the battlefield. Alright, Ashiok. Summon your horde of 2/3s. Definitely wish one of these swamps were an island.
Welcome to
Game could be going a lot better if one of them was, but even if we'd scryed away one of the swamps, we just wouldn't have the 5 mana to even cast Ashiok at this point, so keeping double swamp on top, or I guess swamp labyrinth on top, still worked out better overall, even though we do need a second blue pretty bad. We would not have gotten it in time. We would just be stuck on 4 mana instead. I guess unless we just like dumped a bunch... Actually, never mind. We couldn't have even cast Doom Whisper at that point then, so we wouldn't have been able to surveil into more land. No! Don't conquer Ashiok. The flavor wins. Now is not the time. Now is not the time for flavor wins. I needed that. Is this no attacks? No attacks. The 2/3 is keeping them at bay, regardless. They don't have the mana to make a little token here, so we actually get to kill a real creature off of the first ability. Probably just killing the Woe Strider because they can escape it later. We'll see. Escapes for 5. I can also just bring it back with Elspeth Conquers. The third part of it, they can bring it back. God, and the second part of this saga is actually really going to screw me over, because I definitely won't be able to cast either of these, because they are both non-creature. So I just don't get to cast anything next turn unless I top deck a creature. Or a cheap card. Stonecoil Serpent of their own for 2. So they can Unbreakable Formation me. Alright. Ow. I can go to 1, or I can chump block some of this, or all of it. We're straight up in top deck mode, because these counters are permanent, so whenever I block, it's going to be a chump block anyway. This is real bad. I think we're going to block there, because this plus 1 more damage can kill one of these. I don't know. Five mana Thirst for Meaning. Woo! Alright, well, we got conquered. Very much so. We can technically survive this turn, but I don't even want to, but I will. So, I mean, we could tap out for Thirst of Meaning and die, or we could try to survive by chump blocking the largest damage, labyrinthing, the next biggest thing. Oh, or we're just super dead because of Corpse Knight's ability. Didn't even realize they had that engrave. Yep, we are dramatically dead. So yeah, if they just brought back the Piper, which was what I was expecting because I forgot that was a thing, could just went block and then remove from combat and take 3. Because these wouldn't have been 3/3s, this would have been a 2/2, so it would have been 3 power total, so yeah, block, remove from combat, 3 damage. Alright, well, dang, that took a big 180 in the middle there, but the game's definitely started off super well for our deck. But then some poor plays and some poor draws can always turn that right around. So, I think that's going to be it. I think that's our 3 losses. Yep. So that is going to be it for my first Arena Cube sealed run. What do you guys think of the format? Are you having fun with it? Are you hating it? Either or. I can't tell yet. I'm definitely going to do some more of these. Oh, wow. Okay, so the rewards are from like any set ever. So I'm just getting some cards that I like just don't have. Like I don't have any Moral Genius, don't have any something. That's interesting. That might actually make it a little more worth it than I was saying, especially for people that just don't have any non-standard cards in their collection right now. Could be a decent way to get some. So yeah, I don't really know how I feel about the format yet. Obviously, I don't really have a handle on the cube or how it plays, what kind of decks are going to be the best, but I will play more of it, try to get better at it, and see how that goes. So we're going to go ahead and open our random pack from just leveling up or something, and then I'll be signing off for now. Glass of the Guild pack. Well, that's not the greatest. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you again sometime. I gotta stop saying soon because it hasn't been soon for a while, but I'll definitely see you again sometime for some more Magic Arena content at the latest. When Ikoria launches, I'll be sure to do a big old release day stream of that. But until then, I will probably be doing some cubes in the meantime, maybe a little bit of ranked draft. Whenever I see ya, whenever I can, I'll be here. And if not, obviously, You can check out any of the old videos. There's probably going to be ones showing up right now. As you can tell, it's been a while since I recorded. I forgot how to do the whole outro in its entirety. But yeah, thank you everybody for sticking around, checking out the video, and I'll see you again next time.